friendly match before the start of the World Cup. They will play in Toluca against Serbia. And with the Mexican national team, also some doubts for Javier Aguirre in specific parts of the field. But is there a main question that Javier Aguirre can find answers for in this match against Serbia?
I think the most important question is Edson Alvarez. It's what's his fitness level and can you use him? And if you're going to use him, where do you use him? I don't see him as a 6. I don't see him as a holding midfielder for this team. I think that's Eric Lira's position. That's his to lose. This team is stronger with Lira. I think that center midfield for me is set. Lira, Gutierrez, Mora. Edson Alvarez may be his best position on this team, where you see him right there, as the center back, right-footed center back, along Johan Vazquez. And honestly, it's a toss-up, I think, between him and Cesar Montes, and not in a good way. A pick your poison type of way, Mal.
Yeah. He's the captain.
But he's the captain. But both players are very mistake-prone, error-prone. Edson Alvarez against Australia, Torre, he pulls him down. I don't think the referee went to the back pocket because Tala Rangel came out and cleared the ball and he was too close. The proximity of could he get there was in Edson's favor. But that's a play that can maybe not go your way and you're out. And Edson has never had a good moment in a major tournament for the Mexican national team, and he's waiting for it. 2018, young kid playing as a right back, own goal. Scapegoat there. 2022, defensive midfielder, team captain. Your coach decides not to put you in the biggest game against Argentina. You're on the bench. Copa America in the United States, you tear your hamstring the first 11 minutes against Jamaica. He's never had his moment for Mexico, and I know he's dying to have it. I don't know physically where he's at and what. What
about what Javier Aguirre said after the game on Saturday, Janusz? Because he was asked, okay, what are you going to do against Serbia? And he was very clear with his answer. I'm going to start my best 11. The 11 that I have in mind to start against South Africa is going to start against Serbia. But in the press conference last night, he said, now I'm not so sure. What do you make of having those kind of doubts, hesitations, when you're, less than a week away from playing your first game in the World Cup?
Well, I don't want to read his mind. As we all know, there's been some injuries leading into this tournament, and a lot of players, key players, are not absolutely 100% ready, right? If it's Mora, Alexis Vega, although I don't know if he's going to be in the starting lineup, but there's number. Maybe there's another player or two where he has to be careful just a little bit. I sort of believe that he's going to try to play close to his starting lineup because he almost has to, right? Because I think one of the answers he needs to find out, and correct me if I'm wrong. I talked to Herc about Mexico. I have all 3 Mexican games.
I would find different sources, but okay. You can always come.
I played against him. But it was so long ago that I can't remember. But this is a Mexican team that I don't know if we're all that confident that can score a lot of goals.
No, you're right.
You're going to have to. So if you look at Raul Jimenez, right, and this is, let's be honest, this is not the same Raul Jimenez before the injury, right? Not only is he older, he's come back, he scored some goals, but this is not the same. There's an issue. But Quiñones can score the goal. We didn't really see him, against Australia. Against Australia, who set deep. We've talked about U.S. maybe having problems with that. So you look at Quiñones and, I don't know, maybe Piojo Alvarado, right? So I think he wants to see those front 3 if we assume that that's his front 3. And I think we're close, right? 2 out of 3, probably 3 out of 3. The midfield makeup is interesting as well because Mora is very, very young. We all know how creative, what a wonderful player at the age of 17, what he can or cannot do. But if you're not 100% sure, you don't risk that. So maybe, just maybe, in between the last game against Australia and now Serbia, few things have happened. But, look, this is Serbia. I remember, Yugoslavia, part of that. They had some tremendous players. They just lost to Cape Verde 3-0. Yeah. This is the game that the pressure is on a little bit. After Australia, no disrespect, 1-0, maybe not all the starting players, but he's looking for answers. He's looking for confidence. If you asked him, he said, listen, I really need a 2-3-0 win to get the people off my back.
All right, this is going to be interesting to see what Javier Aguirre does leading up to their debut in Estadio Azteca against South Africa. Now, a club-level transfer market is now heating up. For all the latest information, make sure to visit ESPN FC. Check the show as well every day on ESPN+. What about this? FIFA they just made a late change to a policy, and they have just banned plastic bottles inside stadiums at the World Cup. Now, the regulation, as we knew it, is you could bring your own empty plastic bottles. Reusable. Yeah. There are some water fountains around the stadiums. And with the kind of weather that is expected in some stadiums, it was kind of logic to allow fans to have their own empty reusable water bottle and use those water fountains. Now, FIFA has said no. FIFA has said there's going to be sodas available for sale, there's going to be beer available for sale, and there's going to be water available for sale. Is this something that leads us to believe there's another bad decision by FIFA leading up to the World Cup, Herc?
Here's a reality. With the high cost of ticket sales, not only in these football matches, but just in general, the high cost of life today, people are tired for overpaying. A surcharge on everything. People are tired of it. And then you see FIFA come to the United States, Mexico, and Canada, and these ticket prices are out of control. And it feels like there's price gouging left and right. And the consumer, the fan, feels like they are not looking out for their interest. And that's what it feels like. But this isn't it. You have to remember this is the world's game. And if you were in Latin America, if you were anywhere else, you wouldn't be able to bring in a reusable bottle. In other countries, when you play, you get things thrown at you. And it says there for player safety. You get batteries, you get coins, you get bags of kidney water, all types of different things. It's player safety, I get it. But it leads people to believe you're doing this because you want the bottom dollar. It's at their expense.
Out of greed.
Out of greed. And that's when I am with the people. It would have been nice in these modern stadiums, with all the security measures you have, you would allow people to take their water bottle and get free water. That would be great. And I hope they really are looking out for the player. But I, along with the people, have my doubts.
Because my point, Janusz, is if you ask FIFA, if your biggest concern is that someone's bringing their own water bottle from home and they're going to throw it at the field, maybe hitting some player. If you cannot control that, then
it's not about that.
What are you doing putting a World Cup together?
They're going to be drinking out of something, right? I mean, you can always throw the cup.
Exactly.
No, let's be, the worst thing, I mean, it's nonsense, of course. I mean, you've said it, I don't want to, it's all about money. Sponsors probably came in and says, no, we want to sell our, water or our Coca-Cola, whatever. We've paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. By the way, I'm not agreeing, but that's the reality. Can see the other side. The problem is not that. The problem is the consistent inconsistency with everything. If you say that before, that you were going to be allowed, and you change it, 5-6 days before the World Cup, that's going to, get legs, and it's going to be talked about. Why are we talking about this now? The entire world's talking about that. Not about the game, not about Mbappe, not about Messi. Now, almost they forgot about the tickets. And the inconsistency...
Oh, I doubt they'll forget about the tickets.
No, but inconsistency is what FIFA didn't deliver on, because now with the tickets, all of a sudden today, as we read, you get an email, no, sorry, we overcharge you, because the pressure's coming on. So it started from the very beginning where FIFA said one thing, and all of a sudden then you find out another one.
It just feels like if you're
I'm not saying it makes it right, but if everybody knew, say, year, 2 years, whenever it was that they said you're allowed to bring your own whatever cup or whatever bottle, if you said it then, no. Because, by the way, it happens in this country, right? There are many stadiums or many games that I go to where you can't bring anything. You have to buy what's at the stadium. And you know what? I don't really think about that. It just happens. But when you make a big deal out of it because you go back on the decision that you've made previously, well, no wonder that in the entire X or Twitter or us, everybody's talking about water bottles.
It just feels one after another. It feels like first is the ticket sales, then it's how you get to the stadium, then it's the up cost and charge of public transportation, and then it's the hotels, and then it's this and that. It just feels like it's one after the other for the consumer in this World Cup, and that's where I feel for them.
They try to promote it as the biggest World Cup ever. They can also promote it as the most expensive World Cup ever. There's a handful of friendly matches on Saturday. You can catch them on ESPN Unlimited starting at 3:55 p.m. Eastern. Bolivia will face Scotland, followed by Brazil versus Egypt, and headlining it, Argentina playing Honduras. Catch it live on the ESPN app as well.